I read the whole thing and then I did some sleeping. Okay.
Ze zit aan die kant. Oh nee, kan niet. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
In the context of an economy that is growing just over 5% and which seeks to be a developed nation in 2 decades from now. We believe financial health is extremely critical for realizing the President's target of 8%, specifically for nearly half the population that is economically vulnerable. As the UN system, there are 4 ways that we invest in scaling up social protection, strengthening financial skills, preventing digital frauds, and leveraging a partnership with the banks to scale up ESG financing.
Thank you very much for welcoming me here, and always very nice to be back in Jakarta and Indonesia. Everybody says my 4th visit is actually my 5th visit. And it's something that I've actually accompanied Indonesia in its journey towards financial inclusion. And this is very nice to actually be here with my new hat, which is financial health. As you very well know, Indonesia has done a wonderful job on financial inclusion it has. I mean, the measurements between Findex and local measures are quite different, but still, it's actually made a huge amount of progress. But still, big issues lie ahead in terms of financial inclusion. I cannot say that the Access story has actually happened. We just yesterday talking about sort of, things that we need to use to decrease the connectivity in certain areas, and therefore the access. In some cases, too many access, many people having too many accounts, so finding it difficult to prioritize, maybe too many accounts, lack of oversight, but also with incredibly, increasing digital lives, many offerings of products that could actually buy that maybe not always a necessity, etc. The second one is to make sure that your long-term goals are actually in accordance for the maximum of peace. It's a very, very important issue in which we've actually seen that half of the Indonesians said to have actually saved, only half of those in a formal bank. And if we speak about can you actually make funds to any type of risk, only 60% of Indonesians say they could actually have enough savings to make funds. Otherwise, they have to go or to family, friends, or money lenders, or some kind of online credit. And the fourth, which is very important, is your confidence. And why is confidence part of the definition? It's because people that have financial stress, they always do not make always the best decisions after that. And then also there's a very big effect on productivity. So that is why we're really getting together with employers, because employers see that in their employees when they have financial stress. So there's a very big interest from the employer side to actually do something about it.
It serves as a shock absorber for yours, which was this year. Only 1 in 4 of MSMEs get access to credit. And as
we don't have time. The group is too big.
For businesses. We're also providing a lot of technical assistance, which catalyzes financing that is focused on financial health. And we're working with the government, with the regulator and with the Ministry of Finance in order to promote reforms that can build a stronger financial sector for households and businesses. I'm particularly proud of work that we're doing at the moment, linking up different World Bank teams to provide digital IDs alongside bank accounts, alongside access to social protection, and that in the World Bank world that requires multiple teams working together, but also on the government side as well, and so we've played that convening role.
One that is not complete yet. Not everybody still has access to financial services, and also to all the suite of financial services that we need. So I'd like to say that because I think that work of financial inclusion is not yet done. Mm-hmm. But financial health builds upon a financial inclusion. If I don't have bank accounts, there's no one who can actually speak about insurance, there's no one who can actually speak about savings. So I'd like to start defining first financial health. What is financial health? Financial health, we can comprise it of 4 components. Number 1, making day-to-day ends meet. Is it on a monthly basis, weekly basis, the moment you actually get some income? Can you actually pay for your basic necessities? And can you, so therefore budgeting is extremely important. Sometimes some kind of liquidity to be able to make front of certain things that you of a differential of income streams. So budgeting, some kind of liquidity. Some just small dollar loans are actually important to actually make ends meet, and we're going to be speaking about that shortly. Number 2 is everything that is long-term goals, and that is, it could be your retirement pensions, it can actually be your house mortgage, it can actually be a very long-term investment in your own firm. It can be as tertiary education of your children, or even next year's education of your children.
Nancy, one. Perfect.
Wonderful. So, 10 years ago. Please leave it the jury. Okay. So this is a housing program from the government?
Yeah, this is housing program from the government. especially for the low income and also will subsidize religious program and liquidity.
So the gentleman is forage seller. He is selling forage and he has unlimited income. So what we do for singing.
You get the picture. You get it. Can you look to the camera? Yeah, great. Perfect.
And all this camera, please. Perfect, thank you.
Very good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The mothers who live in this
Hello, madam. How are you?
in the clusters, so they can also contribute to waste sorting, also recycling. So all the residents here can drop off their needs here, all types of inorganic, and then we will do the calculations over here, and in exchange to all the waste here, they will get the points, which redeemable to actually for the they can exchange it into the mortgage installations.
Okay.
So it can help them to pay their installments as well.
Okay. And what is the value of these?
Yeah, so depending on the material, so you have to be careful. So like PPE, for example, it's 2,400. So the PPN is actually doubling the points.
Okay.
So usually we only give half of the points, but now with the PPN they double.
Okay.
Yeah, including like what they use to know as well. The most, like basically mostly.
Life nurture are not only for today, but for every tomorrow to come.
Please give applause, ladies and gentlemen. Talk from that video will capturing how that and support for affordable housing for Indonesia's family. So.
Health topic that we're talking about today is going to be very good for Indonesia.
Yeah, no, very necessary. As it is necessary in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, it's necessary everywhere. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Worldwide, I actually remind all of us here that access to financial health is not only a matter of individual well-being, but also a cornerstone of sustainable development and resilient societies. At Development Indonesia, all of us here, we believe that financial health is not merely a personal concern. It is a strategic business imperative. Employers who invest strengthening the financial well-being of their workforce are not only supporting individual lives, but also unlocking measurable gains in productivity, retention, and employee brand reputation. In today's competitive market, and we know right now there's a lot of competition in the market, this is no longer optional.
House mortgages, so it could be long-term credit for your own company to actually help it grow even further, even education of the children. And I see that for some clients here in Indonesia, it's not even university education, it's next year expenses of school. So it's as short as next year, but let's talk about sort of longer term savings then, and longer term credit. And that is a resilience. How are you able to actually confront any shock? Is it health insurance? Is it accident insurance? Is it sort of life insurance? Climate change related shocks, type of insurance if we're talking about the rural areas. So it is about insurance, but it's also about savings. So savings is a big cushion for any type of eventuality, certainly for loss of income. And one very big issue is emergency savings and buffer savings that actually sort of helps you to have a debt-free way of getting out of shocks. And the fourth one, which is very important in this table, is confidence. Why confidence? Because when people are in financial stress, they have the most significant pressures also in the work floor. It affects how they sleep. It affects their concentration. It affects therefore their decisions. They show up less to work. When they do, they're less safe. And so it's basically a huge dent on their productivity. We know what is the situation now here in Indonesia. We know that surveys consistently show that money is the #1 source of stress for Indonesian households, much more than work, relationships, or health. 82% of households say that they will somewhat or very much struggle to cover unexpected expense. And only 12% could rely on savings in an emergency. 12%. At the same time, a growing share of Indonesians report reducing or stopping their saving altogether, and many are turning to short-term credit, such as buy now, pay later, or payday loans to cover basic needs.
Over the next hour, we'll explore these topics together, foster dialogue, hopefully spark some fresh ideas, and lay the groundwork for concrete action. I am Shubha Chandran, Senior Vice President for Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa at the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth.
For this amazing opportunity to actually have a great conversation with all of you on this issue. It is very nice to see many known faces, some of them yesterday, some of them about 2 years ago in Davos and many other places. So it's very nice to see that some people actually keep on revolving in the same circles. Financial health. As you know, many of you have actually seen me before in Indonesia on the issue of financial inclusion. And as it was just very well put, Indonesia has had a fantastic journey in financial inclusion. That does not mean that all the work has been done. Still 50% of the workers do not receive their salary on a bank account or digitally. It's still done in cash, even more so for government-to-people payment. Certainly the more rural areas and the poorest still have lack access. So a lot of work to be done on that field. But why financial health? Financial health, without financial inclusion, I cannot do financial health to start with. At the same time, it is something that we have to start looking at it now, because we don't want to have financial inclusion leading to more over-indebtedness and more problems. So let me start by defining what is financial health, because I'm very regretted for the people who have actually been with me now 2 days. I'm going to go mad, because I'm going to continue to repeat this. But it's just to sort of put us all in the same wavelength as to what is financial health and what it is not. It means, for components, number one, making day-to-day finances meet. So that means, not day-to-day, but sometimes in a month perspective, do you make it to the end of the month? Every income that you have is able to actually meet your living expenditures. And that means basically good budgeting. Sometimes have some kind of liquidity in moments that you actually have, certainly your informal work, or you have sort of irregular income to actually make this sort of, smoothing consumption in that perspective. And sometimes some small credits, a lot of people actually take a little credit to just make ends meet from family, friends, sometimes money lenders, unfortunately, and sometimes in the US, even with small dollar loans. Second, long-term goals. As long-term as retirement and pensions, as long-term as wealth creation and general investing, as long-term as doing a long-term investment in your own firm, so that through credit, long-term credit, housing, we talk about mortgages as well, and any other type of long-term sort of goal you might actually have. Then there's resilience. It's your ability to counter shocks. Health shocks, death, loss of income, climate-related shocks, droughts, flooding, loss of livelihoods and assets because of that. And of course here we talk about insurance, all different types of insurance, from health insurance, life insurance, crop insurance, weather-based insurance, accidents, motor bicycle, mobile phone insurance, to just simple savings and above all emergency savings. And the fourth component, which is it's a subjective one, but it's a very important one, is your confidence that you have to actually sort of make this all possible. And it is a very important issue because it's related to stress, which is related to productivity at work, it's related to mental health in general, and actually less accidents, in public, even in the workplace. So that's why we were just with some employers discussing about the roles of employers towards their employees and actually helping have have financial healthy lives. So, what is the situation worldwide of financial health? Because I want to say this is not an issue only in Indonesia. My country, the Netherlands, we've actually done a lot of measuring of financial health, and 22% of the Dutch people are financially unhealthy, according to our definition. 25% is actually financially vulnerable, so they're just one accident or shock away from becoming unhealthy. Even with all the safety nets that we actually have, and health insurance and many other insurance that are actually sort of embedded in their daily lives. In the United Kingdom, 22% have less than £100 in savings and investments. In Brazil, 41% have difficulty paying bills. So just to give you an idea, this is a worldwide issue, not an issue in Indonesia. But what is the situation in Indonesia?
I'm sorry, but I need to. I just.
Oh, sorry. I've learned that in these cases, one has to be for outside very fresh, but for inside very warm.
Right.
With air conditioning.
Yes, with the air conditioning.
Thank you so much, and I'm very thankful also for we just got all the papers that you wrote. We got them yesterday night as a start of chat for today. So we're very all the changes and I think it's actually fun.
Please join all the delegation.
It's a delegation, please.
Join all the delegation. Kindly join us. No worry about it. Yes, all the delegation.
I think we will have to get together and squeeze it.
Let's squeeze in more because maybe you can make a second row because otherwise you won't fit in the picture.
One, two, three. Could you please like this, Bapak Ibu?
And it doesn't come from here, it comes from my door. That's another thing you have to
Menghormati ruangan yang disediakan dari panitia, karena kita akan segera memulai sesi high level dialogue.
Guest, distinguished head of delegates of authorities, ministry, agencies as a member of Task Force of Eradicating Illegal Financial Activity.
Queen Maxima over Netherlands, the board of commissioners of the Indonesian Services
di Paris. Chief Executive of Market Index Supervision, Financial Education, and Consumer Protection of Indonesia Financial Services.
Her Majesty Queen Maxima of Netherlands, thank you very much for your presence today. You see, 1,000 people here really looking forward to meet you in person. So give her a big applause for Her Majesty Queen Maxima.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, adik-adikku yang saya cintai, kita sering melihat ya bagaimana seorang princess, ratu, raja ya dalam cerita-cerita dongeng. Dan hari ini kita ketemu beliau. Beliau ini nggak cuma cantik, she's not only beautiful and gorgeous, but she has a very good heart and very smart. She is an economist. So it's very heartwarming for me and to be here in one stage with her. And Pak Mahendra, our chairman, is a very our leader in OJK here and very good. So thank you, Pak Mahendra, for that. And ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, we would like to hear her thoughts on the financial health. Maybe one basic question, Your Majesty. We've been understanding about financial literacy, financial inclusion, but now you have a new thought about financial health. How did you move from financial literacy, financial inclusion to the financial health that can, propose to everyone in the world and really change the way our thinking, our thought, our behavior toward financial well-being in the world? So please explain to us. So please give her a big applause.
Indonesia and be able to address all of you on this issue of financial health, and that's something that actually is important for all of us, for me, for you, Indonesians, Dutch people, American people, globally. This is an important issue, not only in Indonesia. So why did I went from financial inclusion to financial health? Actually, I'm going to start the story the other way around. In 2007, we were talking about microcredit. And one of the issues we realized is that people did not only needed credit, they also need savings to save for that rainy day, to save for maybe that car, that motorcycle you want to buy, to actually pay for your children's education. But if we didn't have bank accounts, we couldn't actually help people save. So that's when financial inclusion, more than 15 years ago, was born. And the necessity to actually give every person in the world a bank account. And what did actually happen? Well, actually, when I started, it was less than 50% of the population had a bank account. And now more than 80% of the world population has a bank account. But having a bank account in itself does not mean that you become better by it. It's a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. And that's why now I'm tuning into financial health, because now I really have to think, once you do have the access, how do we help people use that access to improve their lives, to help them manage day to day? You get an income every time, and then you have all these expenses. And you have so many things you would like to buy. So how to prioritize that? How can we actually help you budget and make the right decisions? How can we also help you, for example, in the long term save? You want to buy a house. Do we actually help you give your mortgage? Do we actually help you give you the right credit to actually invest long term and make machine in your little firm? Do we actually help you make that expense for the next school fees that is actually coming, or buy that book that you want to give your children for your school's expenses? So how do we help you for the long term? You are all getting old. Me too, I'm also getting old, and we also have to realize that we're gonna have to stop working. And then what about your pensions, your retirements? Do we save for that? And also this issue about resilience, we call it in English, but it's about how do you confront shocks. Say you get sick, you don't have income for some months, maybe too much rain, too little rain, maybe you have an accident on your motorcycle. How do you cover those shocks? And then you need that enterprise, to keep on going even if your motorcycle is not there anymore. What about insurance? Are we offering you the right insurance? So insurance plays a big role. So life insurance, it could also be, health insurance, and it also is about an emergency fund. That little fund you actually have in case something really goes wrong. Instead of actually going to a money lender with high interest rates that actually you would actually lead into more and more, credits and much more stress. And of course, it's your own confidence of being able to manage that day to day so that you don't have sleepless nights. Yesterday, the day 2 days ago, I was in Solo and I was asking some families, what keeps you awake at night? And this lady said to me, Madam, that unexpected cost from the school for a field trip, that maybe I cannot pay it, or those school books, even though the school is actually for free. So how can we help her do that little savings for her when those school trips actually come? She knows she can pay for it because it is the future of your children. So that is why we have to focus on financial health.
Ready? Baru teman-teman media boleh untuk
people in Holland with Indonesian descent?
Yes. I understand 20%.
Yes. It's a big number. It's a big number. And we eat Indonesian food. We, you know, it's such a big part of our daily life.
Details. But I think now it is time to now look into the why of financial inclusion. We give something account with, you know, we want them to have a better life today and tomorrow are not to get into trouble. So I think that's the idea behind financial health. I think we explained the definition of it, and I'll go to a little bit, which is the topic about financial innovation. The same goes with long-term savings, wealth creation, being able to get into the money market. We were just talking about Bank of Indonesia as well today. So I think these issues are extremely important. But now, what is the best basis to achieve this? One of the things is finalizing the financial inclusion journey, which is we just talked about digitizing all government and people payments, and that beneficiaries can actually choose their own bank and not be open yet another bank account, because sometimes people have like 3 bank accounts nowadays. It's very difficult for them to manage their money that way. And the possibility for these beneficiaries to actually save money from that subsidy. Because sometimes their need is pressing, but it's not enough for that month. Redo your roof, you know, build another room for your 3rd or 4th child. These things need more, and people need to save. Saving is something important, right? The other issue is to finalize and really accelerate all the digital ID, the IKB rollout. We need that. We need for fraud. We need it to know your customer issues. We need to be able for people to open an account easily. And also to do the following, which is to develop open finance data. There's so much data that is being unleashed through all digitization. But now today it's all in silos. The payments have one, the platforms have other sources of data, the credit reporting have other sources of data, and nobody talks to each other. And it becomes very cumbersome and very risky to give certain people, you know, the right product. If, for example, if I know that in another bank, that person would actually have a lot of savings, or is doing a lot of transactions, I could easily give them a good credit for them to have another, you know, machine to do more batik. So these issues are not possible right now. So we need to have this really open finance and open data framework. Just as the National Council for Financial Health should be erected, this open data effort has to be a national issue that should be transcending all of the departments and private sector. So there's enough models of this issue to ground. I think the Brazilian example is a wonderful example you can follow, and we would be very, very glad with all the partners to help develop it. And what are the laws that to be as basis, what is the infrastructure needed, what is the pricing structures of the data that we need to have for it to work. So, and the consent agreements. So there's enough examples, and we would love, because that would be your next step. And then the other issues is in a lot of these very distant places, even for those cooperatives that you're planning to start in very rural areas, sometimes the connectivity on the mobile phones is still not there. So we need to have connectivity in these places. For us to make use of the data, make use of insurance, and even for those small cooperatives. Because those small cooperatives, we need to digitize as well. And we cannot have them siloed. They have to be part of the whole financial system. So, like I said, I try to put it all in one piece of paper for you to not to make your own notes and to make it all easier. And whatever we can help, we are always there. Thank you very much.
Majesty, Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. Once again, I would like to welcome you to Indonesia and to express our deep appreciation for your visit here in your role as the United Nations Secretary General Special Advocate for Financial Health. In the few moments that we spent in silence, my office, I have learned a lot about financial health. Maybe to be very frank, the first time I begin to understand the concept of finance. So thank you for giving me a super fast track course. But now you have a spark my realization that Your Majesty, some souvenirs. This is a base. This is from north coast of Java. North coast of Java. This is batik silk.
Too many presents.
Not every day you come. This is from Sulawesi.
Very good.
Thank you.
So, I gave you pictures
Thank you.
of myself.
Thank you very much.
But this is for Bobby.
Ah!
This is for Bobby as a
Thank you.
teenager.
He's the most spoiled.
Yeah, so this is for Bobby for, and this is
with the orange.
with the orange, exactly,
Jersey.
Jersey. And this is an amazing photographer that did really touch me photographs in your clothing.
Wow.
But it has a lot of Indonesian influence. So I think it'd be nice for you to see it.
Thank you very much.
And it's really very nice.
Thank you very much.
Part of a whole series of meetings today. I'm really grateful and appreciate